This one was meaningful because this was a deer that I hunted and kind of targeted. It was October 27th, 2017. I had seen him for probably 5 or 6 different sits in a row before I killed this deer. I was going in there a lot, checking cameras, and I was bumping deer, and I was watching myself bump deer. And it was to a point where it was frustrating, you know. You never want to bump deer walking into a property that you're going in to hunt. Leading up to this point, it had been 7 years since I shot a buck with a bow. It was tough to go that long without shooting a deer or a buck with the bow, but it was a choice that I had decided to make on my own. Did I have chances? Sure, there were chances. But I think I got caught up too much in the hype of trying to shoot the biggest buck in the woods. You know, it brought me back to, you know, this year again harvesting a deer that is honestly probably the smallest buck I've ever shot and probably the smallest buck I'll ever shoot. Going into that hunt that day, you know, I didn't know what to expect. You know, I didn't know if I was going to go in and find someone in my stand. I knew this buck was in the area. You know, it was crossing my mind. Was somebody in there walking around? Did they bump this buck out? You know, am I ever going to see him again? He would bounce from one bedding area to the next. So I started doing some scouting, you know, online, looking at aerial maps, trying to depict these 2 bedding areas and the path of travel that he was taking between there. And I started to put the pieces of the puzzle together and realized that he was taking the downwind side of this funnel, and I was kind of positioned in the middle of it. So where I had that stand, I decided I would go in there one morning about 9:30, 10 o'clock. I knew there was some rain coming that day. So I went in and I moved the stand. I moved that stand from where it was probably 60 yards. And I went in there October 27th. And I wasn't in my stand 20, 25 minutes, and I looked down through the woods and caught some movement and could see some legs. And as he walks in, I got the commotion of trying to get a camera set up, you know, get the camera on him, get everything in focus, get my bow, and he was moving pretty quick. So I did one last check to the camera, looked like it was on him, drew back and completely rushed a shot on him and felt terrible. It's one of those things as a hunter you never want to do, and I could see it hit him low and back. That night was a night that I don't wish upon anybody, you know, trying to go home and know that you have to let that deer lay overnight. There was little, if any, sleep that night. A few beers. Hard to celebrate when you don't know what the outcome is going to be the next day. But so my dad met me at the farm at 8 that morning. It had rained pretty much all night, so I wasn't real confident on finding blood. So we started walking down the gravel road that borders the edge of the property. Me and my dad were walking up the gravel road here to go pick up the blood trail. As we're walking up it here that borders the property, my old man looks down, he goes, "What's this?" Big old pile of blood. So I kind of backtracked. He had cut across a big hayfield. I kind of backtracked and could see there was a pretty good ditch on the edge of it. And I could see that this deer trying to cross it slipped and fell, and there was quite a bit of blood. Sure enough, I look out in the hayfield 20 yards, I could see his antlers sticking up out of the hay. The unfortunate part about it was that the deer had not passed yet.
That did it.
That was a memory will never forget. The joy and the emotion that overcome your body when you find something like that you really at that point had kind of lost a lot of hope in. It was a very memorable moment, especially being with my dad. And that was really the end of it.